And because it's react time, I think there's like 6 F8 videos, and that's the only thing that's happened right now. So we're going to start out with one that was recommended to me earlier. And he might be here lurking a little bit. He was here earlier. Yeah, I'm going to turn TTS off. This is from Loud Guns, who, again, shout out to Loud Guns, one of the best YouTubers in the Star Citizen space out there. If you haven't heard of him, he's the man. So I'm just going to link to the video right now to you guys before we even get started. So you can go like and subscribe. This one is titled The F8C Lightning, The Good, the Issues, and the Slap. I wonder what he means by the slap. So here we go.
Today, CIG have given us a bit of a surprise, well at least those of us who steer clear of the leaks, and launched an in-game event alongside the much-desired Anvil F8C Lightning.
Was this did they leak this one? I didn't hear about this one at all.
The Lightning is the UAE Navy's primo heavy fighter, and it sure does pack a punch. So in this video, we're going to take a quick look at the event, where to find a golden ticket.
It packs a punch, but its downfall is it's a saber. Look at how wide-bodied it is. So it's really hard to miss. Hard to miss shots on it. So, yeah, it's got a lot of health. Yeah, it's got good shields, but it can be killed.
But the ship itself, which, spoiler alert, I personally really like. So if this sounds good to you, then grab a cup of tea while I roll the intro, then let's get into it.
Also one of the better intros for sure. Grumpy Eyes still best intro of all time, but I think Loud Guns close second. Also, who didn't think it would be a good ship?
Hello and welcome back or welcome to the channel. I'm Loudguns and today we're going to be taking a look at the F8C Lightning from Anvil. This is the civilian model of the F8A Lightning used by the UAE Navy, but despite being a little bit toned down, it's still an incredibly powerful ship. CIG have launched an event in-game through which you can claim 2 types of ticket. Golden tickets spawn in a variety of outposts and FPS locations, such as bunkers or caves.
And not only that, but it also spawns on NPC bodies. I believe it spawns in every possible loot scenario outside of a player that, you know, it won't like miraculously spawn on a player randomly. That's the only thing. I think it's in every single loot container.
When you find one of these in a loot crate or on the body of a dead bad guy, you just take it with you to any of the rental kiosks around Stanton. You'll find these at any of the major landing zones and low orbital space stations such as Seraphim or Everest Harbour. As soon as you interact with the kiosk, you'll get a message pop up on screen informing you that you now have a 24-hour rental of an F8C. You'll also get an email announcing that you have the dubious honour of being able to acquire one for hard.
Congratulations! You can now buy the ship for $260. The other thing is there's a bug that if you turn in this golden ticket, that you cannot rent it again if you find another golden ticket. And I would be concerned that if you turned in a golden ticket, you might not be able to turn in the platinum ticket for the same reason. So,
currency,
yikes.
With the ship opening for purchase at $300 credit or $260 war bond. I do want to make something abundantly clear at this point, particularly for any players who are maybe a bit newer to the game. CIG's marketing team are really good at creating FOMO, and while they've hyped this up, finding a golden ticket in-game is laughably easy.
Yeah.
I found one in a loot box on my second bunker mission of the day, and speaking with a few members of my org who run FPS missions as their primary loop,
they're very
they've just
common.
got multiple stacked up in their inventories after just a few hours.
The golden ticket part is the ship sale. It's very uninteresting.
Similarly, while the suggestion is that these 10 days are your only chance to get your hands on one in all likelihood, the F8C will be made available at regular intervals going forward. And as with all ships, at some point in the future, it will be available to earn in-game. My view is always that I don't like telling people how to spend their money. You earned it, you choose how to spend it.
Sure.
I don't mind injecting a little realism into some of the narrative about rarity that comes out of CIG's marketing department. One thing I do really like, though, is that these golden tickets come with that 24-hour rental period for free. I have to say, this is a really good idea.
No, they're different rewards. It uses your award service. Are you aware of the bug with your award service then? Maybe you should take a look at it, dude. There's some issues. If you turn in the platinum ticket, you can't turn in the gold ticket. So it might go vice versa as well. Honestly, no joke, DJ. Everybody's reporting this issue, so.
As is the idea for the platinum tickets. So these will be carried by CIG developers in-game. I believe there's going to be a priority mission pop up in your contract manager when it's active. If you can get your hands on one of these and take it to either New Deal or Astro Armada, then you'll get an F8 credited to your account with LTI for good.
For free!
However, there's of course a catch. So from the moment that you pick that ticket up, everybody in the server is going to be able to take the mission with your marker. And these tickets are a physical item that can be looted off your body.
No. So I think Loud might have gotten it wrong here. I might have been following what DJ was saying in chat about the issue. It is not if you kill any CIG dev. It is only certain CIG devs. I had the luxury yesterday of having some of the community team in chat, and it is only certain people that are able to trigger the event, not just any developer. Elliot made it sound like maybe he can ask for it, but it's not any CIG devs. So that communication, unfortunately, is causing some issues here. There's a super, super funny tweet. I will share it with you guys now because this is hilarious. I shared it in Discord earlier today. This is like one of the funniest things of all time. I believe Gil is a live QA team member, so he needs to go on the live servers to QA issues. And he goes, "You can have the ticket when you rip it from my cold dead fingers. I don't have one, though. Please don't shoot me. I just want to check out a bug on live. I've been killed like 30 times and it's only 9 a.m. So yeah, it's causing some issues with people trying to fix the game because everybody thinks that any CIG dev has the ticket and they don't. So kind of unfortunate there. It's only specific people. I definitely think that they are how do I say it? They have a limited number of F8s that they're giving out for free. That's my guess. And yeah, if you want to kill a CIG dev for fun, go ahead. But I imagine that there's like, okay, each day we can only give out this many. We'll spread them out between certain, server regions, whatever. But any CIG dev that's just enjoying a game is problematic. Why wasn't he in God mode? He's a live QA tester, so he likely cannot use those things and probably shouldn't because he should be experiencing the game the way we are, right? So if you're a member of the, and I'm assuming he is, I'm pretty sure he is. If you're a live QA member, you have to experience the game the way we do in order to QA on live, right? So that's my guess there. But that's all the extra information and extra context I can add to the kill a CIG dev thing. If the mission is there, then that's somebody that has the ticket. That is the CIG dev that has the ticket. If there is no mission and it is in your priority, it is a priority mission in the general tab. The moment you open up the mission log in your mobiGlass, it's not on it's on the default tab. So you'll see it right away. Just like Jumptown, basically.
I honestly hope I can get onto a server while this is happening. Not because I think I have any real hope of grabbing the ticket, but because I really want to see an entire server just lose all sense of civility and morality as people try to wrestle that ticket off each other.
Yeah, exactly. I was on one where it was going on, but the person was like in the process of returning it, and like 3 minutes later it was done. So I watched it end. That was basically
But
it.
since I apparently have the self-control of a 4-year-old in an ice cream shop, it's time to check out this shiny new toy. For a long time, the F8's been on display in in-game events like IEE and Invictus Launch Week, and it was always my favourite looking fighter. And for me,
Another
up
one
close
bites
and
the
personal,
dust.
it doesn't disappoint. As well as great looks, you're getting 8 pilot-controlled weapons, 6 size 2s and 2 size 3s. 4 of these size 2s are gimbaled on your first fire group, and they're laser repeaters by default, while the remaining 2 size 2s and the pair of size 3s are fixed weapons, which are on your second fire group, and by default these are going to be ballistic cannons. In terms of systems, you have 2 size 2 shields, 1 size 2 power plant, and 2 size 1 coolers. The QT drive is only a size 1, putting it behind the Vanguard size 2. I checked the fuel tanks, and they're big enough to make the longest interplanetary jump in Stanton between ArcCorp and Microtech.
It's got a lot of fuel. The shields are insane, and it's got a lot of health.
While using the fastest size 1 drive, the VK00. For most of this patch so far, I've been a bit more industrially focused.
It's such a weird ship because you would assume the Squadron 42 ships would be carrier-based. Right? So it's super weird. New fighter has the same shields as the Valkyrie while being a quarter of the size. Here's my take on that. Even though if it's the F8C, there should be things that you should reach for. And I do believe, like, military-focused things, military-grade stuff, all that stuff. Like, we should hit a point where we do have shields that are better than the Valkyrie or bigger ship, simply because, that's what progression is. But, oh, no. I hit back. Oh, no. I have to go back to where we are. All right. Sorry. I hit the back button on my mouse.
You have 2 size 2 shields, 1 size 2 power plant, and 2 size 1 coolers. The QT drive is only a size 1, putting it behind the Vanguard size 2. I checked the fuel tanks, and they're big enough to make the longest interplanetary jump in Stanton between ArcCorp and Microtech, while using the fastest size 1 drive, the VK00. For most of this patch so far, I've been a bit more industrially focused, so grabbing this fighter was a great excuse to hop into Arena Commander's new and improved Pirate Swarm, and take it out for a spin.
Let's see.
And for a 2-word version of my official review, it slaps. Maneuverability.
That's what you mean by the slap. I thought, you had the option for, like, the slap in the face. I want to see this thing in Endless Vandal Swarm.
And visibility from the cockpit are both excellent, and I really like having the 2 fire groups separated with gimbals and non-gimbaled weapons. The gimbaled laser repeaters are fantastic for taking on light fighters like the Gladius, since they forgive your slightly lesser agility. Meanwhile, having the extra firepower when it's needed can help you shred bigger targets in short order. And with this many guns under your control, I think there's a real possibility to have those mixed loadouts of laser and ballistic weapons, or potentially even experiment with a mix of distortion and lethal laser weaponry. But while I do absolutely love this ship, and overall think this surprise event is actually really cool, I think it's worth addressing a few of the issues that this ship does bring up.
All right, let's see.
Firstly, there is some saltiness over the introduction of this ship, now when it was previously stated as only for purchase in-game after completing X amount of Squadron 42, or as a perk for concierge members who'd spent more than $10,000.
Also, everyone's saying that they never said it wouldn't be sold. They 100% said it wouldn't be sold. Like, am I really making this up? I can't find the context, unfortunately. But, like, everybody in the comments said they never said it wouldn't be sold. I'm like, what? I'm pretty sure they said it wouldn't be sold. Like, 99.99999999999%.
I'm just going to separate these two things out, because
people keep telling me F8A. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. But, yeah.
I think they're completely distinct. On the Squadron 42 front, I think it was actually a good thing to ditch.
Chris said it in the interview. Chris meant purchased in game. That's how I took that one. But yeah. So. I think they meant sold in game, Noobifier, from that video that everyone's referencing. That I'm literally, me and my community are the ones that shared it around.
This idea. If the ship was locked behind progress in Squadron, then there would be complaints about.
This was 5 years ago, so the conversation was around the 5 years ago. We still assumed that the funding model might stop selling ships when they released the game. We also thought that they might actually release the game at that time.
About people being forced to buy and play through the single-player game. Back when I backed in 2014, Squadron 42 came with all game packages.
Yeah, it was part of the
no
package.
Extra cash. But now it's been hived off, and it's currently not even available to purchase pending a likely price hike after Sitcon.
At Sitcon,
so
I
let's
think.
say that realistically, Squadron is going to be at least a $60 to $70 title.
Sure.
I reckon there'd be a fair amount of backlash if people were forced to spend that kind of money and play a single-player game they didn't really want to play, just so that they could unlock a particularly powerful ship in the MMO they were actually interested in.
Okay. I think that's the point everybody wanted me to hear, and I agree 100%. With the changes to the way they have moved Squadron into its own thing, that's good. I think that's really good. So, I'm just thinking a little bit more on this. The idea of there being another way to get it is great. Now, I guess my only argument would be and this is just personal preference. I'm really not upset about any of this in particular. But when you say you'll release it at when Squadron 42 comes out, it was kind of one of those milestones of celebrating them actually doing something and actually releasing something. And then when they put it out, and it's not really, Squadron's not released, it's kind of so do you even care to release it or whatever? Some people are speculating that it's Squadron's coming out soon. That's why they're putting it out. I don't really think that's the case. I think, we're at the earliest, we're talking Christmas next year. But, that's just my own speculation. But I think Loud makes a really good point there that if you're going to separate Squadron 42, ship's pretty powerful, and then you're asking people to buy a single player game to have a reward in the multiplayer game, doesn't make a lot of sense. So extremely valid point, extremely good point. They do kind of need to do something, but I think that they should make that choice after Squadron 42 comes out, right? Because the same argument goes for the Idris and the Javelin and other things that people spent significantly more amounts of money on. And yeah, where are those, right? So I don't know. I think that's, again, really good point that with the separation of everything, they kind of had to do something, but they didn't have to do it now. And I think what people are recognizing is they're doing it now out of a little bit of desperation, and it's kind of hard to deny that, right? And it's just a kind of a gross look.
I'd love to see in the PU some form of mission to do with these golden tickets that will serve the same purpose. Giving you a way to unlock the F8 that isn't just handing over credits.
Mm-hmm.
On the concierge front, I do get the frustration from backers who may feel like they've had something taken away from them. But let's be real, nobody spent $10,000 on Star Citizen just so they could get a heavy fighter.
No. But if you had spent $9,500, would you have spent another $5? If you had spent $8,999, would you have spent another $1,001? Possibly. And when the CEO of the company goes in front of the camera and communicates that this is the way it is, you assume that this is the way it is. So you might make decisions based off of their communication. And when you decide to change that some of those backers may feel upset. Again, I tried to communicate it multiple times in my videos and things that I've explained about this. Of course, it doesn't get through to some people, and they're just going to hear what they want to hear. I spent my money on the game before the F8 ever existed, so it was like a bonus to me. I didn't get duped into, spending a little bit of extra money. This isn't coming from my own personal experience, but you can imagine that somebody would be upset about it, and I think justifiably so. And that's the issue here, is now the price of this thing is honestly quite low for, what other people may have spent to get it. And, yeah, it might feel like a slap in the face to some of those people. That's the only point I was really trying to make, when it comes to that.
The vast majority of people I've ever spoken to who have that kind of money dropped into the project have done so because they really love the game and they just want to see it made.
Or because they've been duped by the mobile game FOMO marketing that CIG has done for many years, whether it was selling LTI or limited ship sales. We'll never sell this ship again. Hello, 890 jump owners, and so on, right? So they've been doing this kind of stuff for years, and they've taken advantage of their player base for years. So, yeah, what idiot gets duped for 10K? Do proper research. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question without being disrespectful to you. So I'm just gonna not say anything at all.
I'm in the camp of people who only care that in a live version of Star Citizen, nearly everything is available for in-game currency to a player who has the cheapest available starter package. It's the only way, even with this pay-to-win or pay-to-advantage, that everybody can at least build themselves up to a level playing field. Cosmetic items are absolutely fine to be behind a paywall. Who cares if someone wants to kick in $10 or $20 for a shiny paint or $5 for a skin on their FS9? As long as all the potential power you can gain from ships and weapons and armor is available to earn in-game, then I'm alright with it. There's also the issue that the F8 is a very powerful ship, and right now if you part with hard currency, you can buy that power, whereas someone who doesn't want to or can't drop the cash can't, and they're going to be at a disadvantage. Whether CIG like it or not, PvP combat in particular goes through different metas, depending on relative ship strength. And if
they're trying to avoid metas, but there is no avoiding it.
The pilots are equal, but the equipment isn't, then it can be annoying to be the losing pilot. This is not a new thing for SC, and in a discussion on Discord earlier, one thing I pointed out was that this was almost exactly how I felt about the Vulture. When it came in and it brought in an entirely new game loop, that was shut behind a $175 paywall.
Well, and the thing is at least with this, they gave the opportunity for people to try it and rent it. Yeah, there's a bug that you can't continuously rent it for the 10 days or whatever, but at least people got an opportunity to play it for free. And the platinum ticket on top of that to have it free forever. The Vulture was like almost a way worse example of this situation, to be honest. And rent's only 24 hours. Yeah, I think there's a bug with the golden ticket that if you find another one, you can't rent it for another 24 hours. I don't know if it's a confirmed bug, but it certainly shouldn't work that way.
Fortunately, all I can say is that this is the reality we're signed up to.
Yeah.
The important thing is that at some point in the not too distant future, the F8 should be buyable in-game, much like the Vulture is now.
Maybe, but in the not too distant future might be 9 months or whatever that we waited for the Vulture, which is kind of unacceptable, right? I think everyone would argue the way they handled the Vulture was arguably unacceptable. And the thing for me is what I'm noticing creators doing now in our space is accepting this as reality and not standing up for the future of the game. Because I think as you just accept this as reality, they will keep pushing as far as they can until you no longer accept it. And as the community continues to accept their behavior and brush it off as, well, they're just a business, or they're just this, or they're just that, well, CIG will continue to cannibalize their video game by selling off pieces of it, slowly but surely, until there is no enjoyable game to play and everything is being sold. And I refuse to give up on the potential that the game has because of CIG's behavior, and I will always continue to communicate my frustrations to that specific scenario that continues to happen year on year on year. Every year, they take a little bit of the potential of the game away, and they sacrifice it to keep the funding going and to keep the project going. And eventually, if they keep going through this circle loop where it's sacrifice some of the potential gameplay for financial gain to continue the project going, then eventually you will have no game to play. And the only people that'll be left will be flying around doing their own made-up in-game events and taking screenshots. And for those people, good for you. I hope you really enjoy the game. But I think as a backer for this game and as somebody who backed for an MMO, MMOs have to appeal to a wide audience and have to appeal to a lot of people. And they continue to sacrifice that appeal for the short-term gain, sort of, because I think that they're sacrificing it for the right reasons. Because if they didn't, I don't think we would have a project to play. And that's what a lot of people communicate is you don't get the game if they don't do this, but that's not really the case. You don't get the game if they don't release it, right? And they would get a lot more funding if they released a playable product.
But with all that said,
that didn't have a lot of this
I think I'll
stuff.
now be popping off to continue enjoying my poor decision making. But thank you very much for watching all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
I love his ability to stay quite balanced and calm. I don't have that ability, but I think I am getting a little bit better at it, especially through this video today. But yeah, good point about the split of Squadron 42. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to have to deliver it into the game in some way. No mention of how broken the platinum thing is, because it's hard to even see it. If you're lucky enough to see it, you can. But outside that, it's just another example of CIG being CIG. I don't know what else to say. And eventually, if you sell everything, you won't have anything to play.